Well, it's that time of year again that we all dread, and I can only be talking about tax season. With only days left until that April 15th deadline, here are 5 tips for last-minute filers. Tip number 1, file online. There are multiple free websites where you can use software to file your taxes instead of having to pay a preparer to do them for you. Visit the IRS website by clicking on the free file link to see if you are eligible to free file. Participating software companies such as TurboTax, H&R Block, and many more make their products available through the IRS. Some also support state tax returns. Review the 3-step process on the IRS website and you'll be on your way to e-filing your return for free. Another advantage of filing online is the ability to e-file with direct deposit. You can avoid those long lines at the post office if you e-file your tax return. Your e-filed return is safely transmitted to the IRS, and you can track the status of your tax refund. If you instead mail your tax return, you won't know where your tax refund is for at least a month and have to also deal with the fear that the IRS might not have even received it. Tip number 2, W2Express.com. Say you've somehow lost your W-2 form, visit www.w2express.com where most large companies have your W-2 available. You will need a user ID from your employer. Another benefit of using this is that you can import your W-2 directly if you are using an online software program to file your taxes, such as TurboTax. Tip number 3, beware of identity theft. The IRS issued its annual Dirty Dozen list of tax scams for tax preparers in order to use caution when filing their taxes. There are a wide range of schemes ranging from identity theft to return preparer fraud. Some scams include phishing, which is carried out with the help of unsolicited email or a fake website that poses as a legitimate site in order to lure in potential victims. Another is return preparer fraud, where corrupt preparers prey on unsuspecting taxpayers, and the result can be refund fraud or identity theft. Also avoid advertisements for free money from the IRS and tax scams involving non-existent Social Security refunds or rebates. In many cases, an identity thief uses a legitimate taxpayer's identity to fraudulently file a tax return and claim a refund. Tip number 4, deductions and credits. There are so many different deductions and credits that filers miss every year when they're filing. Tax service provider Jackson Hewitt has a list of the 50 most overlooked tax deductions, and you can find that list by going to jacksonhewitt.com/mytaxmanager. Then select the tab called My Resources, and a deductions tab can be viewed on the right-hand side of the screen under My Tax Resources. Click on the top 50 overlooked deductions to see common deductions many overlook. You can also select credits under the My Tax Resources list that shows overlooked credits that are commonly missed. Some of the most commonly missed tax deductions and credits include job search expenses, moving expenses, charitable donations, the Earned Income Tax Credit, plus many more. Now, say you're down to the 11th hour and you still cannot file by the April 15th deadline. What do? File an extension. Tip number 5. Visit the IRS website and click on the Forms tab to file the IRS Form 4868 to apply for an automatic 6-month extension of time to file. But it is important to note that submitting Form 4868 doesn't extend the time of payment of tax, which is still owed by the original date of your return. You can pay all or part of your estimate of income tax due by using a credit or debit card or by using the electronic federal tax payment system. Now, if you find that you still owe money but can't pay even after filing your taxes, you can apply for an installment plan. Use Form 9465 available at irs.gov, which provides relief to struggling taxpayers. Click on the Payments tab and click the link called Apply for an Installment Agreement. This way, you can still file and lessen some of the penalties incurred on your unpaid tax liability. Remember, it is important to note that even if you do file an extension or apply for an installment plan, you still will be hit with penalties and fines if you don't pay by that April 15th deadline. So you should pay as much as you possibly can by the 15th in order to diminish the amount of fines that you'll have over the long term. Those are the 5 tips for last-minute filers, and to be sure you're not left in the same position a year from now, go ahead and start saving those receipts and other documents that you'll need. Go ahead and use this year's tax return as a tool for reducing next year's tax burden.